First, let me say while I'm getting this set up, for those of you who are from warmer weather, because I talked to a group just a second ago, and they were like, oh, yes, it was 50 degrees when I left home. Welcome to winter. The mall is not too far away, but past the mall, there's Goodwill. Goodwill is a secondhand store. So in other words, it's already previously worn. Someone has donated it to Goodwill. And you can normally get really nice coats, jackets, gloves, boots, and stuff like that at a less expensive. So if you need a little help getting some of that, know that that's available. But let me go ahead and get started. My name is Mary Beth Yoder. I am the Enrollment Services Coordinator here at Wright State University. Do you need me to stay in a certain shot? Okay. All right. And what our office does is we do the customer service for financial aid registration and billing. So if you're adding a class and you want to know how that affects your bill, we can help. If you've made a payment and you want to know what's remaining, we can help. If you've got a hold on your account and you don't know what for, we can help. If you need to add a class and you need to get certain permissions, you can bring the form with the permissions on and we can help you register for those classes. Okay? But we can talk to you about establishing a payment plan, learn about student fees and charges, get help adding or dropping classes. We can also help with understanding your scholarship and why is it not applying the way that it should be. And I'm going to talk about now that other box that you see, add an authorized user, or as a student here at Wright State, register for college level classes, your rights are protected. I cannot talk to anybody but you without your permission. So if your friend, your cousin, your sister, your spouse, your parent comes to talk to us and you have not made them a proxy on your account, we will have to say, I'm sorry, we cannot speak with you. Now, when that happens, if someone sends me an email, what I normally do is say, I'll send the answer to these questions to the student via their Wright State email address and say, hey, this person stopped by, or this person emailed us to say, they had a question. We could not talk to them. Here's how to set up a proxy, but here's the answer to the questions that they asked. So please be aware of that. That proxy is where you give us permission to talk to them about your financial aid, your bill, your classes, and that gives us permission to talk to them in person, over the phone, or via email, because you'll put the email address in your proxy. Authorized user is a little different. Whomever you name as an authorized user, you are giving them their own access to your bill and your bill only. So for instance, anytime that an email goes out that says, hey, a bill is available to be viewed, not only will you get it, but so will whoever you have listed as an authorized user. If you do not have someone that you know that you're going to name as an authorized user, what I might recommend is make your own private email your authorized user, so that way if somehow your bill or an important notification gets lost in spam or junk mail, a copy of it will also go to your private email. Okay? So they can make payments that way or what have you. Now, we do have cost estimators, but with you guys coming in right now, bills are live. So the best way to get an estimate of your budget for the next semester and even future semesters is by looking at your bill for spring term. Now, are you guys grad or undergrad? Undergrad. Okay. So when you see your bill, you will see you'll see one that says UG tuition main. That is the tuition. And then we have non-resident tuition UG main. That is because you are not a resident of the state of Ohio. You are paying the same tuition rates as someone who is a domestic student and who came to us from New York or Maryland. So just realize we don't have, except for certain fees that come through UCIE for some of your paperwork, you're paying the same tuition rates as someone who is a U.S. citizen who is not a resident of the state of Ohio. But what that means is anytime that we have a tuition increase or a change, it will be effective fall term. Most of the time for our undergrad, what you're going to see is where you see tuition UG Maine, that's not going to change for 4 years. The only thing that might change is the non-resident fee, because that's not held to our Wright tuition guarantee. That just changed in the last year, and before that it hadn't changed for like 3 or 4 years. So there shouldn't be too much of a change for you. So really your best budgeting for the next couple of years is what you see on your bill when you're fully registered for spring term. You have an option of spreading out the costs rather than paying everything by January 15th. You have the option of spreading out the costs through March 15th. It is a 4-payment plan if you had started in December. So if you're going to be making your first payment in January 15th, your first payment will be December and January together, so it'll be half of the balance. And then the other half of the balance will be split equally between February and March 15th. Bills are always due on the 15th of the month. And there is a few days, if you miss that due date, please be aware that you will be charged a $50 late fee. These are our payment options. So if you have a bank account or an account here in the US, you can make your payments either online, in person, or by mail. Please know that we call our US mail, nothing against the Postal Service, but they are nicknamed snail mail for a reason. That is the slowest way to get that payment to us. You can pay online, either through an electronic check or through the debit card. But if you are using a debit card, please make sure that you check with your bank to make sure that they allow PIN-less debit. To give you an example, Chase Bank does not allow PIN-less debit. So since Wright State does not ask for your PIN number when making a payment, they will not allow the debit. How to use that bank account anyway is by going to your, just getting your routing number and account number for the bank account associated with that debit card, and you can still have that come directly out of your bank account. If you do use a credit card, that's going to charge you a 2.85% convenience fee. So it is your credit card charging that, not Wright State. So just be aware that if you are going to use a credit card, it is slightly more expensive because they do charge a fee for that. In person, you can drop it off in one of 2 places. We have a drop box here in the Union. Right around the corner is the Wright Pat Credit Union, and they have a payment drop box there. Or if you come to University Hall, which is where my office is located, on the 2nd floor is also a payment drop box. Just make sure that your payment includes your university ID number and your name number to help us put that on your account in a timely manner so that it can get credited to your account as soon as we can. Now, we have had in the past people come up to us with cash. We do not have a cashier window, so you would be putting that in a drop box. And obviously you can't print a receipt for that until they've processed it onto your account. So what I always recommend is if you're going to be making a payment with cash, like a large amount of cash, I would take it to Wright Pat Credit Union and ask for a cashier's check. If you're paying Wright State with that cashier's check, they will let you do it even if you do not have an account with Wright Pat for no cost. And what will happen is that they will make a cashier's check made payable to Wright State University for the amount of cash that you gave them, and then they will give you a receipt for that cash. So that's the way that you get a receipt for the cash that you're making your payment for, and then that will be posted to your account. There are alternative loans. Those are private loans. Please be aware that some of those interest rates are pretty high. So if you want to look at what you can get here, you can, or look at maybe banks that may be less lower interest rate at home to see what would be fiscally more reasonable for you. Because I have heard with some of the private loans anywhere from 12, and I just talked to somebody and they're paying 20% interest rate on a private loan. So just be aware of that. But most likely, if you don't have any credit history, they'll likely ask you to do have a cosigner. I do strongly recommend, even if you're going to be paying out of pocket, still set up your account to receive your refunds via direct deposit. That way, if somehow you've made your payment, you've paid everything off, and then you drop a class, if you've dropped it within the refund period, which is the first 2 weeks of classes, and that information is on our academic calendar, it will go to you and get to you much faster than it will if it goes through U.S. Postal Service, because that can take up to a week. Because even if you're living on campus, we put it in the mail, it goes to Columbus first and then comes back here. I got a letter from my dentist who is 3 miles from my house. It took 5 weeks. So set up direct deposit. You'll get your refund much faster if you're due one. Now, if you are going to be making payments from home, you can do that. Please be aware, though, that we do not give out our account information. So what you need to do is you can use any of 3 services: Flywire, TransferMate, and Convera. They do have a little, let's see if I've got on Convera's. Yep. Like with what I have up here on Convera, they have that Pay with Convera, and they kind of have a video on how to use it and how best to use the loan to make, or use the service to make a payment. But please be aware that it still will take a week or 2 for it to come through, because it is going through not only through that company, but it is also going through the conversion process of getting converted from your currency to ours. So please don't make it on the 15th and expect it to show up on your account on the 16th. It will take longer than that. But those are 3 different ways that you can use that. With Flywire, it's my understanding that you can do a payment plan with Flywire. So you can make your first payment and it'll come directly from home and do the payments that way if you wish. It is important to remember, please check with enrollment services if you're adding or dropping classes. We'll let you know how that will affect your bill. If you are receiving a scholarship and it requires you to be full-time and you're trying to drop from 12 to 11 credit hours, that may take your scholarship off your account. So give us a call, let us know what your questions are, and we will do our best to answer. If we are not the office that will answer your question, like if it's something about your I-20, we will redirect you and direct you to the person that you need to speak with. Like with an I-20, that would be UCIE. But also check your Wright State email address regularly. That is our primary mode of communication with our students. So if we need something from you, we have questions for you, we're going to send you an email through your Wright State email address. And become familiar with Wings Express. That is our primary place of record. Like Wings is a little bit more, hey, this is what's going on in the Wright State community. This is what's going on campus. This is what's going on with the engineering or nursing. When you get into Wings Express, that's where you can see your registration, your bill, your financial aid, your unofficial academic transcript, your grades, and get access through Pilot. Pilot, you guys been introduced to Pilot yet? Pilot is basically, that's for your classes. So that'll be what your assignments are, where they are, and a place where you can upload or download, depending on how your teacher wants that done. Obviously, the December dates have already passed. There are no late fees associated with December 15th, but if your payment is not made by January 15th, there will be a $50 late fee. It's $50 per month, not per day. All right. You also have January 24th is the last day to drop a class with a refund. So that means if you drop a class on the 25th, you still owe 100% for the class that you just dropped. Last day to enroll in a payment plan for the spring semester, 100%, is January 31st. And I do ask you to mark your calendars. February 1st, we have our one scholarship application, and that is open to undergraduates, graduates, domestic, international, all Wright State students. It is one application for more than 500 different scholarships that are offered through our one scholarship application. I guess I should go to this one. Even if you've never heard of the scholarship, if you filled out this one scholarship application, your name is going in front of the selection committee if you have anything. All right, so, but the deadline to do that is February 1st. It shuts down at 11:59 p.m. This is our contact information, so this is our last slide, and then I'll be moving on to the next one. But these are our office hours, our phone number, our contact information. You can follow us on Facebook and X if you wish to. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us. Thank you guys for your kind time and attention. I'm going to go ahead and leave you to the next speaker. If you have any questions, our office is located in the first floor of University Hall, and you can't miss us. We have a lot of glass in between our two doors, and it's a big green wall behind us. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Thank you guys very much.